कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
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 यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन
जमुना तीरा वनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
जमुना तीरा वनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
गयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी गयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजाग्रये। Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you all for our Srimad Bhagavatam overview series. So today we are going to discuss Canto 1, Chapter 14, called The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. So this particular canto of Srimad Bhagavatam has a lot of chapters describing disappearance. Right? So we saw the previous chapter, it is the departure of Dhritarashtra. And before that we saw the passing away of Bhishma Dev. Right? So this particular chapter is the disappearance of Lord Krishna. The next chapter is the disappearance of the Pandavas. The Pandavas retire timely, and towards the end of the canto, Parikshit Maharaj also departs. So this particular first canto is very important for sadhakas. It teaches us a lot of renunciation, a lot of vairagya. So we saw in the previous chapter, before I get into this chapter, the disappearance of Lord Krishna. The previous chapter is it's entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. So basically we saw in that chapter, overview of the chapter, Vidura returns back to Hastinapur from his pilgrimage, and Vidura chastises Dhritarashtra, speaks a lot of strong words but with a lot of compassion to Dhritarashtra, and finally Dhritarashtra develops vairagya. So we saw towards the end of the chapter, Dhritarashtra left Hastinapur, Gandhari left, Vidura left, and also Kunti Maharani. So Ranganachan was having this question, what happened to Kunti? Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that Kunti also follows Gandhari, and she would eat once in 30 days and then she also departs in the Himalayas. So I think this is a very beautiful chapter in the sense that this entire canto, in the sense that every senior is inspiring the juniors, the next generation in Vairagya. All the senior people have left. Now the Pandavas also leave, Lord Krishna also leaves, and finally Parikshit also leaves. So this is the summary of the 13th chapter. So today we are getting into the 14th chapter. The 14th chapter is called The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. So basically a quick overview of this chapter. This chapter begins with Yudhishthir Maharaj suspecting Lord Krishna's disappearance, because Yudhishthir is seeing a lot of ill omens, inauspicious signs. So he's already suspecting. And Narad Muni, if you remember the previous chapter, towards the end, Narad Muni had told Yudhishthir, you remain in Hastinapur as long as Lord Krishna is there. So Yudhishthir was already thinking on those words, and ill omens have come now, and Arjuna has not returned from Dwarka for a very long time. And finally when Arjuna appears in front of Yudhishthir, seeing Arjuna, Yudhishthir is all the more scared, because Arjuna is so hurt. He's feeling So sad that Lord Krishna is gone. And Yudhishthira is asking a lot of inquiries about the welfare of the Yadus. And finally, Yudhishthira is asking Arjuna, has Lord Krishna, that Supreme Lord, our ever well-wisher, left us and gone? So that's this particular chapter, chapter 14. So a very, very touching chapter for all devotees. So let's begin this chapter. Text 1. Sutta uvacha sampratiste dwarakayam Jishno bandhu dirikshaya Gyatum cha punya shlokasya Krishnasya cha vichestitam. So Sutta Goswami begins, Arjuna went to Dwarka, sampratiste dwarakayam. So the name of Arjuna used here is Jishnu. One of the name of Arjuna is Jishnu. In Bengal, where the birthplace of the Srimad, the residence of Vasudev Ghosh, one of our great acharyas, there is a temple of Vishnu, Lord Krishna and Arjuna. And the temple is called Vishnu Jishnu Mandir. So one of the name of Arjuna is Jishnu. So here is called Jishnu Bandhu Didikshaya. So Arjuna has gone to Dwarka. Why? In order to find out about his friends and relatives, what's happening there, and Gyatum cha punya shlokasya, and to find out what is Krishna's plan now. One of the name of Lord Krishna is Punya Shloka. Why is Krishna called Punya Shloka? Because he is glorified with very beautiful poetry, very beautiful shlokas. So therefore Lord Krishna is called Punya Shlokasya. Krishnasya cha vestitam. So Arjuna wants to know what is Krishna's next plan. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Lord Krishna has come in this world to establish dharma, right? Lord Krishna has done the war of Kurukshetra. Yudhishthira is the king now. So almost Lord Krishna's plan is complete. Lord Krishna in his childhood he killed a lot of demons. Now the war of Kurukshetra is over. So Arjuna, who is an eternal companion of Lord Krishna, is going to Dwarka to find out what is the Lord's next program. What is the plan of the Lord? Text 2. Vyatita katichinmasa tadanyaya tatorjuna dadarsha ghora rupani nimittani kurudvaha. Vyatita katichinmasa. So now Arjuna has gone to Dwarka and few months have passed. Tadanadha tatorajas. Toto Arjuna. Till now there is no news of Arjuna's return. Arjuna has not come back. By this time, Dadarsha Gora Rupani Nimittani. By this time, Yudhishthira is already seeing a lot of inauspicious omens, very fearful signs. And Yudhishthira is very, very scared at this point. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna is the creator of unlimited universes. And in every universe there is a sun. Right? So that means we can imagine the sun is so bright. Lord Krishna is the source of millions of suns. So when Lord Krishna is personally present in this world, definitely there will be a lot of light. Lot of light, matlab lot of goodness in this world. And as soon as Lord Krishna disappears, naturally there is going to be a dark phase. And that's what Yudhishthira is already fearing at this point, that he's suspecting that Lord Krishna has disappeared. Text 3. Kalasya cha gatim rodhra viparyastra tu dharmina papi yashim rina vartam krodha lobhanartha atmana. So Yudhishthira is seeing the change of time. Kalasya cha gatim rodhram. Time keeps changing. And this season that has come, this particular phase of time, Raudram means is very, very fearful after Lord Krishna's departure. And what was the signs of Lord Krishna's departure? Here it says, there were disruptions in the seasonal functions. Generally there are seasons, 6 ritus, and these ritus are like very fixed. What happens? But Yudhishthira is seeing that after Lord Krishna's departure, things have started to become disrupted. Like we are seeing already some disruptions, right? As Kali Yuga has progressed now, rains have started towards the end of June. Right? A lot of disruptions. So these things have started after the disappearance of Lord Krishna. And then Papi Yasham Rinam Vartam. And people have become very, very sinful, greedy, angry, deceitful. So these are the signs basically after Lord Krishna's departure. Matlab, this is the start of Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga, these are the symptoms. How is Kali defined as? Kali is defined as the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Right? So these are the symptoms. So Prabhupada writes here, a godless man after Lord Krishna's departure, Yudhishthir, till the point when Lord Krishna was there in this world, these things were unknown to society. Hardly anyone was greedy, hardly anyone was proud, angry, nothing. All these vices didn't exist only. So when Yudhishthir started to see these first signs, Yudhishthir was so confused. How can people be greedy? How can people be angry? Yudhishthir just couldn't understand this. So these are the signs. And Prabhupada writes here, a person who is greedy earns by any means, black or white, it doesn't matter for him. And then Prabhupada writes, a man becomes too greedy for he thinks that this earthly life of a few years is all in all. Why do people become greedy? Because they feel that this life is everything. And Prabhupada mentions the cause of all problems in human society. What is the cause? What does Prabhupada say? Ignorance, Agyan. And to remove that ignorance, Krishna has come in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is stressing on. Lord Krishna, this is a dark age, the age of Kali Yuga, where there are so many problems, so many anarthas. But if we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, there can be great hope. Text 4. Jimma prayam vyavarhartam Shatya mishram cha sauradham Pitra matra suradbhatra Dampati nam cha kalkanam. So what are the other symptoms Yudhishthira was seeing? Jimma prayam vyavaratam. In ordinary transactions between friends, sauradam, there was cheating. Jimma prayam basically means cheating between friends. Shatyam mishram matlab duplicity, adulteration. As I told you, Kali Yuga is an age of hypocrisy, matlab duplicity. So these things in ordinary exchanges between people, cheating started to enter. And relationship between fathers, mothers, mitra, matra, surat, bhatra, the family relations basically between fathers, mothers, sons, and between husband and wife started to become filled with quarrel. Dampati nam cha kalkanam, quarrel. So Kali Yuga means the age of fights, continuous some problem or the other. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, every conditioned soul has 4 defects. Prabhupada mentions this in many, many places. What are the 4 defects? First is, every human being commits mistakes. And why does he commit mistakes? Because he has imperfect senses and he becomes illusioned. And because he commits mistakes, there is cheating propensity. So Prabhupada writes, these are 4 errors in a conditioned soul. 4 problems in a conditioned soul. Errors, insanity, inability and cheating. And among these 4, cheating is the most prominent. And Prabhupada mentions here, the reason we start to cheat is because we want to enjoy in this world. We have come separate from Krishna, we wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna, therefore there is so much problem. And Prabhupada explains, the only way we can be saved from all these anomalies of Kali Yuga, contending difficulties, is only one process, by taking to devotional service. The only way Kali Yuga or the anarthas of Kali Yuga can go away, the only way is through the process of Bhakti. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatir Anyata. There is no second way. There is only one way. For all the problems of Kali Yuga, the only one solution is taking shelter of Krishna through the process of Bhakti, through the process of chanting. Text 5. Nimittani Atarishthani Kale tva anugatendrinam Lobhadi adharma prakritim Drishtva Drishtvo chanujam nripa. So, in course of time, Yudhishthira started to see in these few months Yudhishthira started to see that people became accustomed to greed, anger, pride, which was never known to society before. This became normal for people. Became normal for people. And Yudhishthira, seeing these omens, he starts to speak to his younger brother Bhima. So Prabhupada mentions here, it appears that Yudhishthira was so disturbed that these symptoms have started to enter into society. That means a king like Yudhishthira is also responsible to see that people have a life free from all kinds of anarthas, basically. So that's how responsible the kings were, just not in creating systems, to see that people also have a pure heart and mind. So it was very, very astonishing for Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira starts to speak his heart out to Bhima. Text 6. Yudhishthira vacha sampreshito dwarakayam jishnur bandhu didikshaya gyatum cha punya shlokasya krishnasya cha vestitam. If you see text 6, it's exact the repeat of text 1. Same thing, right? So Yudhishthira starts to speak to Bhima. My dear Bhima, I've sent Arjuna to Dwarka. It's been so many months now to find out what is Krishna's plan, and Arjuna is still not come. Text 7. Gata sapta dunamasa Bhimasena tavanuja Nayati kasya vahetor Naham vededam anjasa Gata saptadhuna masa. My dear Bhima, your younger brother, Bhimasena Tavanuja, your younger brother, has gone and has become 7 months. 7 months Arjuna is in Dwarka. So this was the mood of Arjuna also. Now Arjuna is the king of Hastinapur. They are like the kings after a very long time. But Arjuna's heart is not in this kingdom. His heart is with Krishna only. So if you read Mahabharata, most of the time Arjuna would live with Krishna in Dwarka. That's how Arjuna would spend his time. So 7 months have passed and he's not returned. So Yudhishthira is worried. Nahum vedam anjasa. I don't know what is happening. It looks something very odd that is going to come. Text 8. Api devarshi nadishta sakaloyam upastita yadatmano anga akirdam Bhagavan utkirshati. So Yudhishthira is now connecting the words of Narada. Is Krishna, Bhagavan utkirshati, is Bhagavan Krishna actually going to wind up his pastime? Or as he already winded up his pastime, as the time come, as predicted by Narada Muni. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, in 1 day of Brahma, that means in 24 hours of Brahma or in 12 hours of Brahma, there are 1000 yuga cycles, right? So in all the yuga cycles, if among all the yuga cycles, only one time that Supreme Lord Krishna personally advents. So this particular yuga is the only yuga in which Krishna personally comes. That's Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. So when Krishna comes, Krishna does his Leela, and due to some particular pastime, he winds up his Leela also. So Prabhupada mentions a little about Krishna's disappearance. So we all know that the Yadukul at this point, they fought among themselves because of the curse of Narada, right, and all the sadhus. And they fought among themselves in Prabhashetra, the present time Somnath, and they destroyed themselves. And there Lord Krishna goes and lies below a peepal tree. And there was a hunter that shot an arrow, it hit Lord Krishna's feet, and Krishna chooses to depart. So now also in Somnath you have this place called Bhalika Kshetra, Bhalika Tirtha, from where Lord Krishna departed. So someone may say, Arey, Lord Krishna also is departing like a human being. But Prabhupada writes here, no. Lord Krishna's departure is not like that. Krishna just chose to depart like that. But Krishna, how can one small arrow hit Krishna and Krishna leave? And this particular hunter was a simple hunter. It's not that he had some divine missiles. In the war of Kurukshetra, such divine missiles would hit Krishna and nothing would happen to him. So how can one small thing happen? In fact, the Bhagavatam explains, here is just a short version. If you read the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where this exact episode is explained, after this hunter hit that arrow, he comes and asks forgiveness from Krishna because he thought feet of Krishna was some like a deer or some animal, he shot it. So he's coming and asking forgiveness from Krishna. Krishna says, don't worry. And you know what Lord Krishna does? Krishna sends that hunter also to the spiritual world. Before Lord Krishna departs, he said, you did this final seva for me, you go to the spiritual world. And then Krishna also leaves. So Prabhupada writes here, so Krishna's departure cannot be like a departure for an ordinary living entity. So Prabhupada often gives this example, just like you have a sun, right? When the sun rises in the morning, do we say that the sun is born? No. And when the sun sets in the night, do we say the sun is dead? No. The sun never dies. It's just that it is set for your and my vision, that's all. The sun is still there now. Isn't it there? Still there. Similarly, if the sun doesn't die, Krishna was the source of all these suns. How can there be death for Krishna? So it's called the disappearance of Lord Krishna. And Prabhupada writes here, see in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna shows the Virat Rupa Darshan to Arjuna. What is Virat Rupa? Virat Rupa is the universal form. That means Krishna's material form. So basically, this is another understanding that Prabhupada gives here. When Krishna departs, Krishna leaves the Virat Rupa here. That means the material body he gives up, and in that spiritual body he goes back to that spiritual world. That's the understanding of Krishna's departure. What Prabhupada explains here, right? But at this point, Yudhishthira is very, very worried because Yudhishthira doesn't know. He's getting this feeling, this gut feeling that probably Lord Krishna has departed. Text 9. Yasmanah sampato ragyam dara prana kulam braja asan sapatno vijayo lokascha yad anugraha. So this is Yudhishthira's conviction, realization and his faith. He's saying, Yasmanah, that Krishna, it is only because of him. Sampato Ragyam. Only because of Krishna, we have our Sampati, we have our kingdom. Daraha, we have beautiful wives because of Krishna. Pranaha, we have life because of Krishna. Kulam, we have a nice dynasty because of Krishna. Praja, followers. Asan Sapatnya Vijayo, we have got victory over enemies because of whom? Because of Krishna. So Yudhishthira doesn't take credit of any of this. He's saying all this is because of Krishna. Lokascha yat anugraha. And even the future, whatever planets we are going to attain, heavenly planets, it's all because of yat anugraha, because of Krishna's mercy. So this is what we need to learn. This is what we need to understand. Right? Whatever we have, it is only by the mercy of Krishna. If we can recognize this, if we can be grateful for this, our life is very, very successful. So Prabhupada writes at the end, any successful man should feel grateful to the Lord for all that he has achieved. We should be actually very, very grateful. And Prabhupada mentions here, it's not that our effort brings everything. If effort was everything, Prabhupada gives an example. That means every medical practitioner should do all the surgery perfect. There shouldn't be any failure. If effort is everything, then why there is failure? That means effort is not everything. We have to put our effort, definitely. But beyond our effort, Krishna's anugraha is very, very important. So Yudhishthira is acknowledging this fact that, my dear Bhima, whatever we have is only because of Krishna's mercy. So Yudhishthira is such a great personality. He is not proud about anything. He understands that this is all Krishna's anugraha. Text 10. Pashyopatan naravyagra divyan bomam sadaihikan darunan samshato dura bhayam no buddhi mohanam. Pashyopatan naravyagra. Oh, tiger among men, Bhima, just see how many miseries, how many calamities are affecting us. Divyan Bhauman Sadaihikan. So Yudhishthira is saying, just see the celestial influences. The stars are not in the right position. And because the stars are not in the right position, there is so many reactions on earth. So what are the earthly reactions? Prabhupada explains in the purport. excessive heat, cold, rain, no rain, famine, epidemic, all these are due to the celestial influence. And when there is all these problems in the earthly realm, what happens to people? Sadhai Khan, the people's body and mind get completely disturbed. And this is, so Prabhupada mentions here, this is Maya Devi. Maya Devi, through her three sources, Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, Adidevik ways, she gives miseries to living entities. And we all try our best to get rid of all these miseries. So Prabhupada mentions here, what is an Asura? When an Asura sees problem, he doesn't recognize that this is Maya Devi giving these problems because I am becoming more and more Asuric. He tries to solve the problems in a material way. And what is the result? The result is that he meets failure after failure. Therefore, Prabhupada quotes, what is the solution to get rid of all problems? The problems of Maya Devi. Prabhupada mentions 7.14. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mamevaya Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. So what does Lord Krishna say? Lord Krishna says, Maya is very difficult to overcome. You may be a great intelligent scientist. Like now the rains have come delayed. What can the scientists do to bring the rains? Nothing. You can't do anything. The forces of Maya is very, very strong. So Prabhupada mentions this particular verse and Prabhupada gives us understanding. The only way we can get rid of Maya is taking shelter. Mam evaya prapadyante. When we surrender to Krishna fully, then by Krishna's mercy, things can be okay. So that's the faith that we need to develop. So Yudhishthira is seeing all these dangers. Dharunam samsado dhurat bhayam no buddhi mohanam. So Yudhishthira is saying, my dear Bhima, all these dangers are foretelling of a very terrible time that is going to come upon all of us. And because of this, our intelligence is deluded. We are not able to see the actual picture. Text 11. Uriv akshi, urav akshi bhavo mayam Spuranti anga puna puna Veputaschapi hridaye Aradhashyati vipariyam. So Yudhishthira is saying, Yudhishthira is so keenly observing things. He is saying, my dear Bhima, my left side of my body, Anga, my left side, Uru Akshi Bhavaho Mayam. My body, my thighs, my arms, my eyes are all Spuranti Anga Puna Puna. There is quivering, there is shivering in these places. Veputas Chapi Hridaye. And there are palpitations in my heart. Ara Dashyanti Vipariyam. And all these indicate undesirable happenings. Something wrong is going to happen. Sometimes you get that feeling, basically that vibration. So Prabhupada mentions here, material existence means full of undesirables. What you don't want, you will get. And what you want, you may never get it. So that's material existence. Things that we do not want is forced upon us. That is material existence. So Prabhupada says these are inauspicious signs when there is queering on the left side. And Prabhupada gives an example. And it's not that in this material world you have to do something wrong to experience something undesirable. The nature of this world is undesirables will come to you. Something unpleasant is going to come to you. And Prabhupada gives an example that Prabhupada gives very often. Just like in a forest, no one goes to set forest fire. Does anyone actually take a matchstick and set a forest fire? It just happens. So similarly, this material world is a place where problems will come. Naturally, something or the other will come. Right? And the only way we can get rid of these problems, just like there's a forest fire, how can you extinguish a forest fire? What can you do? Wait for the rains to come. Only when it rains. Otherwise, there is no other way. There is no human intervention that can happen. So similarly, this world is like a forest fire. Samsara dhava nalalida loka Tranaya karunya ghana ganatvam. So this world is like a forest fire blazing with miseries, undesirables. And Krishna sends clouds to rain upon us, to extinguish the forest fire. And who are these clouds? These clouds are representatives of Krishna, the sadhus, the gurus. they come and pour Krishna's mercy to us in the form of their instructions. And then all these undesirables slowly start to fade away. Yeah, even if they remain, you don't get so much affected by them. Text 12. So what Yudhishthir explained in 11 was the symptoms that he is experiencing in his own body. The previous verses we saw, he mentioned certain symptoms around in the earthly realm, in the celestial realm, like that, and in the minds of people. Now in 12 and 13, Yudhishthir is explaining how even the animals have started to behave differently. And he says, text 12, Shaivoshyaddantum adityam abhiravati alanalana mam anga sarameyoyam abhirebati abhiruvat. Just see Bhima, Shiva refers to a she-jackal. The she-jackal, with the rising of the sun, the she-jackal cries. Heard of a jackal cry? Very fearful and very inauspicious also. That sound, very inauspicious. So, with the rising of the sun, that too, if the she-jackal cries in the night, it's fine. Morning time when the she-jackal cries, very, very inauspicious. These are called Nimitta Gyan. There's an entire science that studies omens basically. So there's an inauspicious omen. And not only is the she-jackal crying very badly, very fearfully, but it's also vomiting fire. And the dogs, Salameya is the dog. And Yudhishthira is saying, these dogs bark at me fearlessly. Anywhere I go, they are just barking at me. So that means something undesirable is going to happen. Text 13. Shashna kurvanti mam savyam dakshinam pashavo pare vatam cha purusha vyagra lakshe rudato mama. My dear Bhima, useful animals like cows are passing on my left side. So it's considered inauspicious sign. Cow should pass on your right side. And asses, lower animals like asses are circumambulating me, and my horses appear to weep upon seeing us. Text 14. Mrityu duta kapatoyam kuluka kampayan mana pratyulakascha kuvane vishwam vaishunyamicchata. So this is verse 14. Yudhishthira is explaining about the birds. Mrityu duta kapatoyam. Kapato is a pigeon. So this pigeon, after Krishna's departure, the pigeon appears to be like a messenger of death. The pigeon is also making such ferocious sounds. And the owls and crows, the sound that they are making together is making my heart tremble. It appears that they just want to get rid of the entire world. They want to make the entire world into a void. Text 15. Dumradisha paridhaya kampatebu sahardibi nirghatascha mahamstata sakam cha stanayitnubhi. So he's saying, just see, there is smoke in the sky and the mountains are throbbing, basically the earth and mountains. Kampate bu sa adribi. Bu refers to earth, adribi refers to a mountain. So the mountains and earth is practically trembling. There is throbbing in the mountains and earth. So Yudhishthira is explaining throbbing in his heart, and he's saying even the mountains and earth are throbbing. And there is no cloud in the sky, still there is thunder. Heavy thunder, bolts coming from the blue. Text 16. Vayurvati karasparsho rajasa visrjam tama asrak varshanti jalada vivarsam iva sarvata. Vayurvati karasparsho. The winds are blowing violently. Rajasa visrjam tama. And they are carrying dust. And they are blowing dust everywhere. And the entire world has become very, very dark. And there's darkness everywhere. And Jalada refers to clouds. Clouds are literally pouring blood. Right? This is the kind of experience that Yudhishthira is having. That means there is going to be a big disaster that is coming soon. Text 17. Suryam hata prabham pasya graham mardam mito divi sankuler bhuta ganer jvalite ivarodasi. The rays of the sun are declining, the power of the sun is declining, and the stars are appearing to fight among themselves. And confused living entities, people have all become confused because the age of Kali is an age of confusion. The living entities are confused and they are all weeping and crying. Text 18. Nadyo nadascha shubita saramsi cha manamsi cha na jwalati agnir agyeya kalo yam kim vidhasyati. Nadyo nadas saramsi manamsi. Rivers, tributaries, ponds, mind of everyone is disturbed. There is no peace even in the rivers, in the oceans, there is agitation everywhere. And butter, ghee, no longer ignites fire. So a good system, something very auspicious is as soon as you light a fire, you put ghee, immediately it should lit. If it takes time, that means it's very inauspicious. So this is something very, very extraordinary. Yudhishthira is saying, Kalo yam kim vidhasyati. My dear Bhima, what kind of time this is? Something very wrong is actually going to happen. Text 19. So till here, 15, 16, 17, 18 basically, Yudhishthira explains the effect of the Panchabhutas. So now he says, text 19, Na pibanti stanam vatsa Na duyanti cha matara Rudanti ashru mukha ghavo Na harshyanti rashabhavraje. Cows and the calves, after Krishna's departure from this world, after Krishna ended his Leela, the calves do not drink milk. The calves have become so sad after Krishna's passing, they are not drinking milk. And the cows also have not stopped, they also have stopped to give milk. The only thing both the cows and the calves are doing is, they are standing all day and crying. That's what they are doing. When Lord Krishna was in Vrindavan, the cows and calves would be so happy that you didn't even have to milk the cow. The cow would automatically give milk. Right? So when after Krishna's departure, the cows and Krishna are very intimately connected. The cows are feeling very, very sad. And the bulls, Rishabha, bulls refer to Rishabha, the bulls take no longer pleasure in the pasturing ground. That means everyone is practically sad after Krishna's departure. So the whole idea of this set of verses is, when Krishna is there in our life very prominently, there is happiness. As soon as Krishna departs from our life, there is only sorrow. Just like in Ramayana, when Lord Ram left Ayodhya, for those 14 years, the entire Ayodhya was like a dead place, haunted place. There was nothing left in Ayodhya at all. There were no festivals celebrated. They were feeling so much sorrow. And as soon as Lord Ram comes, they come very, very happy. So that's the kind of experience. For all of us to experience this kind of emotion that Yudhishthira has is very difficult for us to connect, because none of us have experienced Krishna's presence. Someone who has experienced Krishna's presence so closely, in such close proximity, and now Krishna has gone, for him it's so painful. And then he says, text 20, Daivatani rudanti va svidyanti hi uchalanti cha ime janapada grama purodhya ankarashrama brishta shriyo niranandha kimmangam darshayantina. So these are tests. Just like now you have, when you cook rice, you pull out one grain and you see whether it's cooked. If one grain is cooked, the whole vessel of rice is cooked. Similarly, you can test whether the society is happy or not by few things, few parameters. In the previous shloka, Yudhishthira is given one parameter. If the cows are not happy, that means not a good sign. If the cows are happy, if the calf is drinking milk and the cows and bulls are very, very happy grazing, I mean, it's a good sign. Similarly, the deities. So here he says, Yudhishthira is observing that the deities in the temple appear to be crying. The deities are crying and lamenting and perspiring. And they are almost seeming that they want to leave the temple and go. Their deities also feeling so bad. And then he says, all the cities, villages, towns, gardens, hermitages are now devoid of beauty and happiness. My dear Bhima, I do not know what sort of calamity is now awaiting us. Text 21. Manya eter mahopater nunam bhagavata padai ananya purusha shribhir hina bhur hataso bhaga. Mahotpater, Utpate is disturbance. Utpati is a disturbance. Maha Utpati is a great disturbance. My dear Bhima, I think that, so Yudhishthira is coming to a conclusion that now Nunam Bhagavata Bhader, now the earth will no longer experience the touch of Krishna's feet. The earth is now bereft of Krishna's lotus footprint. These are the signs. So he says, Hina Bhur Hata Sobhaga. So that means Sobhaga is fortune. When there is fortune in our life, according to Yudhishthira is a great Mahajan. His conclusion is, as long as Krishna is touching your life, there is fortune. As soon as Krishna leaves your life, there is only going to be misfortune. So this is the understanding of fortune and misfortune. It's not that if there are no problems in your life, you're fortunate, and there are more problems, you're less fortunate. It's not like that. The spiritual understanding, the Bhagavatam understanding is, when you have Krishna in your life, there is no misfortune. And when Krishna is not there, there is only misfortune. Therefore, we saw in the 8th chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto, Kunti Maharani's prayer. What is Kunti Maharani praying to Lord Krishna? Vipada Shantuta Shashvat. My dear Krishna, give us more and more problems. Because whenever there have been problems, we have had the opportunity to have your darshan. As soon as we have your darshan, there are no more anxieties for us. So this is the mood of Yudhishthira. He's actually feeling that these are the symptoms of Krishna's departure. Text 22. Iti chintayas yatastasya drishtarishtena chetasa ragya pratyagamat brahman yadupurya kapidvaja. So while Yudhishthira, he's seeing all these signs in the earth at that time, and he's thinking to himself, talking loudly to Bhima, right at that time, Yadupurya Kapidvaja. Kapidvaja refers to Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita explains, na, Kapidvaja. Arjuna, whose chariot had a sign of Hanumanji. So Arjuna, right at that time, as Yudhishthira is discussing with Bhima, Arjuna enters. So very filmy, na? So actually, if you want to experience all kind of emotions, all kind of things, it's already there. Suspense, everything is there in Bhagavatam. What else you need? And our acharyas have spoken it in such a beautiful way. So you can actually visualize this whole scene, right? Yudhishthira is talking to Bhima, seeing all these inauspicious signs. Right at that time, Arjuna enters, as if it's whole orchestrated, planned, right? Text 23. Tam pandayor nipatitam atyapurvam aturam adovadanam abindon shrajantam nayanabjaryo. So as soon as Arjuna came, he bowed at the feet of Yudhishthira. Something very interesting in Mahabharata, these brothers were just months apart. They were not even years apart. They were literally like months apart. Yeah, probably like some 1 or 2 years apart. But still the kind of respect they had for each other is like amazing. So Arjuna goes and touches the feet of Yudhishthira. And Yudhishthira notices that Arjuna, his dejection is unprecedented. Ayata purvam aturam. Aturam is dejected. Arjuna has been dejected before, right? When Arjuna lost his son Abhimanyu in the war, Arjuna was very dejected. When Arjuna had to fight this war, which he didn't want to, Arjuna was very dejected. So Arjuna has experienced dejection before. But this kind of dejection is ayatha purvam. Yudhishthira has never seen Arjuna so dejected. And Arjuna has put his head down, and the only thing happening to Arjuna is tears coming from his eyes. Continuously Arjuna is crying and crying and crying. He is not able to speak anything. Text 24. Vilokya Dvigna Hridayo Vichayam Anujam Nripa Pritchati Sma Suran Madhye Samsmaran Narade Ritam. Seeing Arjuna completely pale, you know what's pale? Practically his luster has gone away. Seeing Arjuna pale, his heart filled with anxieties, Yudhishthira, so now Yudhishthira is getting his confirmations, right? One was already Narada's words that Krishna is going to depart soon. Second is inauspicious signs. Third is now Arjuna in this state. Yudhishthira, already all these connections are happening, and he's starting to question Arjuna in the midst of all his friends. And what is Yudhishthira's question? From text 25, Yudhishthira is questioning Arjuna. Text 25. Yudhishthira uvacha Kachit anartha puryamna Svajana sukamasate Madhu bhoja dashararha Satvata andaka vrishnaya. Yudhishthira, practically he wants to ask Arjuna, is Krishna there or not? But how do you ask that question? I mean, you don't even want to ask that question. So Yudhishthira, he's just asking about everyone else. So Yudhishthira is asking, my dear brother, please tell me, Kachit artha puryamna svajana sukham asate. Anartha is Dwaraka. My dear Arjuna, you have come from Dwaraka. Svajana sukham asate. Our relative is happy. So these were all one family basically. Krishna's entire family was Arjuna, Pandava's cousins. Are our friends and relatives happy? And who are the relatives? Madhu Bhoja Dashar Arha Satvata Andaka Vrishnaya. So the Yadukul basically had a lot of other dynasties there. The Madhu dynasty, Bhoja Dashar Arha Satvata Andaka Yadu, all of them were living together. So Yudhishthira is asking, are all of them actually happy? Text 26. Suro Mahatma Kachit Swasti Aste Vatamarisha Matula Sajuna Kachit Kushali Anakadundubi. Is my respectable grandfather Shurasen happy? So Shurasen is basically Lord Krishna's grandfather. Lord Krishna's father Vasudev, Vasudev's father Shurasen. And Shurasen is also the father of Kunti. We were discussing this. Kunti and Vasudev both were sisters, right? And brother and sisters, basically brother sisters, and their father was Shurasen. So in one sense, Shurasen is Krishna's grandfather and he's also Pandava's grandfather. So is our respectable grandfather Shurasen in a happy mood? And is my maternal uncle Matula Sajuna Kachit Kushali Anakadundubi? Are my maternal uncle Vasudev and his younger brothers doing well? So one of the name of Vasudev is Anakadundubi. Why? Because when Vasudev was born, all the Gandharvas and all the demigods sounded a lot of drums, in Vasudev's being born. So one of the name of Vasudev is Anakadundubi. Is Vasudev and all his brothers doing well? Text 27. Sapta swa sarastat patnyo matulanya sahatmaja aste swashusha shemam devaki pramukha swayam. So are Vasudev's 7 wives headed by Devaki all happy? And are their sons and their daughter-in-laws happy? Text 28 and 29. कच्चिद् राजा हुको जीवति असत्पुत्रोऽस्य जानुज हृदिक ससुतो क्रूरो जयंत गदसारणा आसते कुशलं कच्चित् ये च शत्रुजितादय कच्चित् आस्ते सुखं रामो भगवान् सात्वतां प्रभो कच्चित् राजा हुको जीवति is Ugrasen. Ugrasen is the father of Kamsa, right? So Asat Putro Chanuja, who had a very demonic son called Kansa, is Ugrasen still alive? Jivati, is he still living? Because quite an old man. Ridika, his son Kritavarma happy, or Akrura, Jayanta, Gada, Sharana, Satrujit are all happy. And then he says, Kachit aste Sukam Ramo Bhagavan Satvatam Prabhu. And how is Balaram, who is the protector of our devotees, is Balaram doing well? Bhagavan Satvatam Prabhu. So Prabhupada writes here very clearly. Till now, Yudhishthira is asked about a lot of people, right? Till now he is asked about all Surasen, Vasudev, everyone, all of them. But till now he has not used the word Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan comes here. For whom? For Balaramji. So Prabhupada writes here, Balaram is also Vishnu Tattva. He is also in the category of Vishnu. So therefore the word Bhagavan is used for Balaramji. And what is Balaramji's role? Bhagavan Satvatam Prabhu. Balaram is meant to protect the devotees. So Balaram means one who gives strength. Yeah, Baladev means one who gives strength to his devotees. So Prabhupada explains here, Balaram represents a guru. And Guru's role is to give strength to the disciples. And Prabhupada mentions the same Balaram comes in Kali Yuga as Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu is the mercy incarnation. And Lord Nityananda delivers all fallen souls like Jagai and Madai. Text 30. Pradyumna sarva vrishnina Sukam asti maharata Gambira rayo aniruddho Vardate bhagavanuta. How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family, is he happy? Who is Pradyumna? Pradyumna is Lord Krishna's son. Krishna and Rukmani, their son is Pradyumna. And how is Aniruddha? Is Aniruddha also faring well? Who is Aniruddha? Pradyumna's son is Aniruddha. And here also the word Vartate Bhagavanuta. So for Aniruddha and Pradyumna, the word Bhagavan is used. Why? Because they are also Vishnu Tattva. So Prabhupada mentions here, these are the four, whenever the Lord comes, he comes in these four forms. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Right? Sankarshan is Balaram. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Krishna, Balaram. Pradyumna, Aniruddha come as actually Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So these are Vishnu Tattva. They are all Vishnu category. So therefore the word Bhagavan is used. And the same Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha in Ram Leela come as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrugna. Right? So these four personalities are always there in different forms. So therefore they are addressed with the word Bhagavan because they are in the category of Vishnu Tattva and they are not an ordinary Jiva. Text 31. Sushenascharu deshnascha Sambo Jambavati Suta Annecha Karshni Pravara Saputra Rishabhadaya. Are all the chief sons of Krishna like Sushena, Charudeshan, Samba, the sons of Jambavati, etc., along with their sons doing well? So Yudhishthira has asked the main children's name, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, grandson, Samba, Charudeshan, like that. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives, and through each wife, Lord Krishna had 10 children. So how many sons Krishna had? 161,000. Each son had 10 children. So how many grandchildren Krishna had? You can imagine, right? So this is Krishna's family. So Prabhupada mentions Yudhishthira cannot list that whole family list. Otherwise this chapter will never end. So Yudhishthira is asking only about the main people. He doesn't get into the detail, right? but Lord Krishna's family was very, very huge. Right? Very difficult to remember all their names, but all very powerful personalities. There's one or two chapters in Bhagavatam 10th Canto where all the names are mentioned. All the names of Krishna's son, each wife, what are the sons, name of the 10 sons, all of them are mentioned. So if you have interest, you can read the particular chapter. Text 32 and 33. Tataivanuchara shaure Shruttadevo Udbhava Vadaya Sunandananda Shirshnaya Ye Chane Satvarshabha Api Swasti Asate Sarve Ramakrishna Bhujashraya Api Smaranti Kushalam Asmakam Baddha Sauradha. My dear Arjuna, are Shruttadev, Uddhava and others, Nanda, Sunanda and all the other liberated devotees who are constant companions of the Lord, are they doing well in their respective functions? And do they all remember us and think of our welfare? So Prabhupada mentions here, whenever Lord comes in this world, he comes with his eternal associates. These are called Nitya Siddha, the eternal associates, like Uddhava and all of them. And all of them come with Krishna to help Lord Krishna in his mission. So just like Uddhava is an eternal companion of Krishna, the Pandavas are also an eternal companion. Right? So they all come for a certain function. And when the Lord winds up his pastime, they also go along together. So these are the list of the eternal companions of the Lord whenever he comes. Text 34. Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhakta Vatsalam Kachit Pure Sudharmayam Sukam Aste Sudadvata. Now what? After asking about everyone, he is now asking about Krishna. Bhagavan api Govindo. And again the word Bhagavan comes very prominently. So Krishna is that Supreme Lord Bhagavan. And api Govindo, Krishna's name is Govinda. Brahmanyo Bhakta Vatsala. And how is Krishna addressed as? Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. Krishna is very dear to his devotees, or the devotees are very dear to Krishna. And Krishna has great love for the Brahmanas. So Prabhupada notes in the purport, these words are very important in this verse. Bhagavan, Govinda, Brahmanya, Bhakta Vatsala. All start with B, most of them. Bhagavan is that Supreme Lord, Krishna. And that Krishna is Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the cows. And to the Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanidaya Cha Jagadadhaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So that Krishna is he loves the Brahmanas and the cows. Bhakta Vatsala. So therefore Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, that Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, without fail, whenever these words come, Prabhupada mentions that how the Lord is protector of everyone, but Lord Krishna is especially the protector of the Brahmanas and the cows. Brahmanas means the Brahmanical culture and cow protection, to keep the cows happy. And then, so Prabhupada mentions that above the Brahmanas finally are the Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada mentions here, Yudhishthir, he's asking about the welfare of all, but he doesn't ask about the welfare of Krishna, because, how can you ask about Krishna's welfare? Krishna only is taking care of everyone. So he's asking, how is Krishna enjoying his pastimes in Dwarka? Sukam Aste Suradvata. How is Krishna enjoying surrounded by his friends? That's what he's wanting to know. Right? Text 35 and 36. Mangalaya cha lokana Shemaya cha bhavaya cha Aste yadu kulambodha Adyo nanta shakapuma Yadbahu danda guptayam Swapuryam yadavorchita Kridanti paramanandam Mahapora shikaiva. So he's saying that original Lord Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan, who's the original enjoyer, he along with Ananta, Adyo Ananta Shaka Puman, that Krishna along with Balaram, Krishna and Balaram, They are staying eternally in Dwaraka. And by staying in that, amidst that ocean, in that island of Dwaraka, what they are doing? Mangalaya cha lokanam, shemaya cha bhavaya cha. So Mangalaya cha lokanam is Lord Krishna is giving auspiciousness to everyone. And Lord Krishna is taking care of everyone staying from Dwaraka. So here Yudhishthir, I mean, in one sense he's feeling, Yudhishthir is also a great devotee of the Lord, but he's feeling that the Dwarka Vasis are so fortunate that Krishna is spending private time with them in a private island. So Yudhishthir is feeling they are so fortunate. And these Yadu dynasty people, they are experiencing great happiness. Kridanti Paramanandam. Anandam is happiness, Paramanandam is great happiness. So the Yadu dynasty, all the family in the Yadukul are so fortunate, they are getting to do such beautiful pastimes with Krishna. Mahapora Shika Iva. And it is as if that Dwaraka is non-different than the spiritual world Vaikuntha. So what is Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha is a place where Krishna is present. Any place where Krishna is present is Vaikuntha. And Prabhupada mentions here, the characteristics of Vaikuntha means there is no distress, no anxiety. They are all happy, Paramanandam, because Krishna is in the center. So Prabhupada mentions, Yadu dynasty is compared to an ocean of milk. Just like, in the spiritual world, there is a spiritual world called Shira Sagar, ocean of milk, where Lord Vishnu is lying on Ananta Shesh, surrounded by the ocean of milk. Right? And all the demigods go there and seek blessings from Lord Vishnu. So similarly, Yudhishthira is comparing, here there is an ocean of salt and Lord Vishnu has come as Krishna and is doing his pastimes on Balaramji, who is Ananta Shesh. The both Lord Vishnu and Ananta Shesh have come here. So in this way he is comparing the joy of the residents of Dwaraka. And then he says in the next two verses, very beautiful verses 37 and 38, what is the benediction or what is the advantage of having Krishna on your side? Text 37. This is a little longer verse, but you all can try to repeat. Yat pada shrushusana mukya karmana satyadayo dvi asta sahasra yoshita nirjitya sanke tridasham tad ashisho haranti vajrayudha vallabochita. So here Yudhishthira is speaking specifically of the wives of Lord Krishna. And what did these wives of Lord Krishna do? Yat pada shurshusana mukya karmana. These wives of Lord Krishna, we saw how many wives Lord Krishna had? 16,108 wives. What did these wives do? Mukya karmana, their main activity was yat pada shurshusana. They were giving comforts to Lord Krishna. They were trying to make Lord Krishna happy. This is what the wives of Lord Krishna were doing. Their only occupation, their only focus was, our job is to keep Krishna happy. So you may say, why do you do that? What do you get in return? They say, Satyadayo dvi asta sahasra yoshita. How many wives Lord Krishna had? Satyadayo. Satya refers to Satyabhama. Satyabhama and others. Dvi asta sahasra. Asta is 8. Dvi hasta is 2 into 8, 16. 16 sahasra, 16,000 wives. Satyabhama and 16,000 wives. So their full focus was to give Krishna pleasure. And by doing this, what they did, Nirjitya Sanke Tridasham Stat Ashisho Haranti Vajrayudha Vallabochita. Just by doing this, Krishna was so obliged to them, Lord Krishna was ready to do anything. And this beautiful pastime is, one time Lord Krishna takes Satyabhama to where? Swargaloka. You all know this pastime? Lord Krishna had to kill a demon called Narakasur. So Lord Krishna goes on his Garuda and takes Satyabhama. Generally every demon Krishna would do it alone. But this time Krishna took Satyabhama. And Krishna killed Narakasur. And from there Narakasur had taken the earrings of Aditi, the mother of the demigods. and something else of Indra. So Lord Krishna thought, let me go and return it to Indra. So he took Satyabhama, Garuda, they went to Indraloka, right? And then they gave it to Indra, the earrings and everything. So that time when they were coming back, Satyabhama saw the Parijat tree in Swarga. This Parijat tree only grows in Swarga. So Satyabhama told Lord Krishna, I want this plant in my compound. So Lord Krishna agreed, okay. And Krishna fought and got that plant here. So here it is said, those prerogatives that only the queens of the demigods would get, all of that and much more these queens got. Only by giving happiness to Krishna. That's the idea that Prabhupada mentions here, right? That, just by serving Krishna, Krishna gives you the best of all facilities. And Prabhupada also mentions something very interesting. There is one particular chapter in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam where the 16,000 queens of Krishna meet Draupadi. You know that story? The story is that they all meet Draupadi and they are taking counseling from Draupadi. You know why? Because these ladies, 16,000 ladies, they feel that we are 16,000 wives. All of us together cannot please Krishna, one husband. You are one lady, you are pleasing 5 husbands. Please give us some tip. And Draupadi gives them a lot of tips. And they listen and attentively follow it in their life and they try to apply it. So this is very, very astonishing for Yudhishthir that the Dwarkavasis are so fortunate to have Krishna with them. Text 38, another very beautiful verse. Yadbahu dhandabhyudha yanujit juvino yado pravirahi akuto bayamoho Adhikramanti angrabhir aratham balat Samam sudharmam surasattamochita. So the previous verse spoke about the prerogative the wives of Lord Krishna had, something that even the wives of the demigods didn't have. And here it says, Yadu Pravira, the great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, they were personally protected by the arms of Lord Krishna. Yad Bahu, because they were personally protected by Lord Krishna, Akuto Baya Muhur, they were fearless, completely fearless. Bhajahure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. This is the formula for fearlessness. Yesterday Sunday, we were singing the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his song he explains, Ashoka Abhayamrita Purna Sarvakana. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that song he explains, just by taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, when we take shelter of Krishna, we get 3 things. Ashoka, Abhaya, Amrita. Ashoka means sorrow. Ashoka means all sorrow will go if we take shelter of Krishna's feet. Second is Abhaya. All fear will go if we take shelter of Krishna's feet. And third is Amrita. Even death will go. You will attain eternal life by taking shelter of Krishna's feet. So these 3 things Krishna's feet can give you. So here they say, Akuto Bhaya. Because they were taking shelter of Krishna and Krishna was protecting them, they were fearless. Therefore, Lord Krishna arranged the Yadu dynasty to fight among themselves. Because Lord Krishna knew that no one can kill them. They are so powerful. Only if they kill themselves, the dynasty will be destroyed. So the dynasty fought among themselves. But the idea is that these people are so fearless. And what is the example of their fearlessness? They went to Indraloka and see, when you make a city, Prabhupada mentions every city. How do you know how powerful the city is? Depending on the parliamentary assembly house, right? Like your White House, very powerful. So the bigger your assembly house, that means you have like a massive city, you have a very opulent city. So when they made Dwarka city, they wanted an assembly house. So what the residents of Dwarka did, they went to Indraloka and the assembly house in Indraloka, just like you have in America, White House, the assembly in Indraloka is called Sudharma. They bought that Sudharma down to Dwarka. They bought Indra's assembly house to Dwarka. That was the power that they had. And the demigods couldn't do anything. They just couldn't do anything. So this is the prerogative that they had. So Prabhupada writes here in the purport, those who are direct servitors of the Lord, They have nothing to fear. And Lord Krishna administers the best of things for them. Because such pure devotees are actually protected by the Lord. So this is what Prabhupada mentions here. Prabhupada explains, fearfulness is basically a sort of illusion. And Prabhupada gives an example. When someone is dreaming, he's asleep and he's dreaming and he sees a tiger. When he sees a tiger, he becomes very fearful. But what is the solution to get rid of that fear? Just wake up. So similarly, why we are fearful? Because we have forgotten that we are servants of Krishna. Therefore, we are fearful. So how to become rid of all fear? Awaken to the reality that you are Krishna's servant. All fear will go. All fear will go. And Prabhupada mentions, the tiger itself is an illusion. But even if there's a real tiger, there's nothing as a real tiger, it's all a dream. But even if there's a real tiger, there is nothing to worry if Krishna is there along your side. So in this way, Yudhishthira is glorifying the great heroes and the great residents of Yadu dynasty. We saw in these 3 verses, he says that how Dwarka is literally like Vaikuntha and all the residents are so happy. And the queens of Krishna, they have got everything just because they are serving Krishna. Their main aim is to give Krishna pleasure. And here the great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, they have all the best of facilities and they are fearless because they have taken shelter of Krishna. Now, the last section, after Yudhishthira has asked about all of them, still Arjuna is like quiet. And Arjuna has nothing to speak, there's nothing to say. So now Yudhishthira is trying to find out a little more. Kachitte, this verse is text 39, yeah. Kachitte namayam tata drishta teja vibhasi me alabdhamano vakyata kim va tata chiroshita. Tata is basically a younger brother and Tata is also a son, right? So for Yudhishthira, Arjuna was like a son. Even in one of the previous verses, he calls Bhima also a son. Just might be a few months old, younger, but Yudhishthira feels that they are like my son. So he's asking Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is alright. Because Arjuna is not answering. Arjuna, is your health alright? You have lost all your bodily luster. Have you disrespected anyone in your stay in Dwarka? Or have others disrespected you? Now Arjuna has been in Dwarka for 7 months. Now if you stay in someone else's house for 7 months, naturally you can expect some disrespect coming in. Some way they will give you an indication, right? So Yudhishthira is asking from all angles, is there any disrespect that you have given anyone else or someone has given you? So when we disrespect, so this section from here is something very important because it shows the cause of dejection. Yeah, the cause, anytime you feel depressed, might be it's one of these reasons coming up. So Yudhishthira is summarizing, what all it could be. It could be that you are not respected someone or someone else is not respected you. I mean, we may say that we don't need respect, but respect is also a need. There is some amount of need for respect also. Text 40. Kachin nabihato bhave shabdadibir amangalai naddattam uktam arthibhya ashayayat pratishrutam. My dear Arjuna, has someone addressed you in unfriendly words that you're feeling so hurt and dejected? Has someone threatened you? Or is it that someone came and asked you charity and you couldn't give? Or you gave a promise to someone and you couldn't keep? See the questions. The question itself has an answer and an indication, right? It has an answer and an indication very clearly. So that means if you're given a promise and you're not able to keep your promise, naturally there will be a kind of dejection that will internally seep in. A kind of guilt that will come. And if someone has asked you something and you're in a position to help, definitely it's one's duty to help. Especially a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is bound to give charity, especially when someone comes and asks. So if these things are there, they may be causes of a despondency. Text 41. Kachitvam brahmanam balam sharano prashtam sattvam. Okay, sorry. Kachitvam brahmanam balam kamvrindam roginam striyam sharano prashtam sattvam natyakshi sharanapradha. My dear Arjuna, you are always the protector of deserving beings such as brahmanas, children, cows, women and diseased. Could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter? So Prabhupada mentions here, this is also a very loaded question. The question itself has an answer. That means a king or a responsible person is supposed to give protection to 5 kinds of people. Brahmanas, Balam, children, Gam refers to cow, Vriddham, old people, Roginam is diseased, and Striyam, 6th is women. So a good ruler will give protection to these 6 kind of people. And when the 6 kind of people are not happy, crying, that means the ruler is not great. So in this way, Yudhishthira is asking Arjuna. Text 42. Kachitvam nagamo gamyam vasan kritam striyam parajito vat bhavam notame nashme pati. Have you contacted a woman of impeccable character, or have you treated a deserving woman improperly, or have you been defeated by someone who is inferior or equal to you? So this is Yudhishthira's question. Some of it applies to a Kshatriya specifically, right? So Prabhupada writes there, in the purport, you all can go back and read. So Prabhupada writes there is connection between man and woman, there is something called Uttama and Adama. So basically the understanding is a man should always be of a higher status than a woman in terms of the birth and even the qualities, basically guna. And then Prabhupada mentions here that for Arjuna to be defeated by Bhishma was okay, because Bhishma was superior to him by age, skill. But if Arjuna was defeated by Karna or by someone equal or someone inferior, it was very, very hurting to the ego, right? So Yudhishthira is asking, did someone very inferior to you, equal to you, defeat you on the way? Why are you so dejected? And then text 43, a very interesting verse. Api swit praya bhumtastvam sambojan vritta balakan jugupshitam karma kinchit kritavana yat akshamam. My dear Arjuna, have you not taken care of old men and boys who deserve to dine with you? And have you left them and eaten your meal alone? So Prabhupada writes here, a householder, generally his first duty is to feed brahmanas, elderly people, children, and then have. And that too, Prabhupada says, an ideal householder, the rule is that you have to go out of your house and shout 3 times, is anyone hungry? If anyone is hungry, feed them and then eat. If there is no food for you, it's still okay, but still you have to do this. I mean, the idea is if someone is around you and you sit and eat alone, is like very, very uncultured basically. Or Yudhishthira is saying, have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is very, very abominable? Have you done any sin? What's wrong with you? So these are the different causes of dejection, right? Let's go through that. We have one last verse to go. Is your health all right? Because if the health is not good, then naturally there'll be all other issues. Were you disrespected or neglected? Or were you addressed with unfriendly words? Or did you fail to give charity? Or did you fail to keep your promise? Could you not protect Brahmana, children, cows, women, diseased who came for shelter? Have you contacted a wrong woman, or have you treated a right woman improperly? Have you been defeated by someone inferior to you? Have you taken your meals alone, or have you committed some great mistake? So in this way, he wants to ask one question, but he's not able to ask that. He doesn't want to ask it, so he's trying to beat down. You just want to postpone, na? You know something is going to happen, but you really don't want to know it. Yeah. So then finally Yudhishthira is finally asking the 44th verse. Kachit preshtat menata hridayinatma bandhuna shunyosmi rahito nityam manyase anyatanaru. Or is it that you're feeling empty? Shunyosmi rahito nityam. You're feeling completely empty and lost, Arjuna, because hridayinatma bandhuna, because you have lost your most intimate friend, Krishna. My dear brother Arjuna, manyase te anyata naruk. I cannot see any other reason other than this. So Prabhupada explains all the inquisitiveness of Maharaj Yudhishthira about the world situation was already conjunctured by Yudhishthira on the basis of Lord Krishna's disappearance from the vision. And now seeing Arjuna in this acute dejection and connecting back to Narada's words, so Yudhishthira is finally expressing his heart. Probably what we didn't want to hear has actually happened. Lord Krishna has actually left us. So this is the summary of this chapter. Maharaj Yudhishthira suspects Lord Krishna's disappearance. He sees a lot of inauspicious omens, and supplemented is Arjuna's appearance in such a dejected state. Yudhishthira asking about the welfare of all the Yadu dynasties, and also glorifying the Yadu dynasty devotees, the Dwarkavasis, for their great fortune of having Krishna with them. Yudhishthira is asking Arjuna about his welfare and all the questions of why someone can become dejected. And finally, Yudhishthira is asking about Krishna's disappearance. How Arjuna answers that, and what is the response of the Pandavas immediately, how they retire from their family life, is the subject matter of chapter 15. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sorry for going a little late. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Okay. So this is a very painful chapter for all devotees.